Hi everyone, let's talk about AEW Fright Night Dynamite, which was a very good show in my opinion. Let's talk about it, guys. So we had Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy versus the Death Riders, Wheeler Yuta, and Daniel Garcia, which was a good tornado tag, guys. Let's talk about it, guys. Action hot from the jump, and Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin taking it to the young Death Riders, and Wheeler Yuta clobbers Darby from behind with an elbow, and Daniel chokes Orange with his jacket, and action spilling out, and Wheeler Yuta working Darby Allin over on the floor and going under the ring and coming up with a fresh bird to flip, the middle finger and stuff like that. Good stuff. Then Darby Allin nails him with a chair and sets it up, setting Wheeler Yuta down in for the right hand and striking away on Daniel Garcia, and Darby Allin with a tope that rockets through Wheeler Yuta in the chair, and Wheeler Yuta's crawling at Darby Allin's face, and Daniel Garcia throws Orange Cassidy over the barricade, but he comes up standing about to put his hand in his pockets, and then Wheeler Yuta runs right through him, and then the Death Riders working Orange Cassidy over, and Darby Allin's coffee drop off a balcony whips them out, which was amazing. That was amazing coffin drop from the balcony, guys. That was crazy and good, I'm telling you. Then Darby Allin runs the barricade to splash Daniel Garcia with a kick, and then went to the break, and then back from the break. Death Riders with a double Ramiro special on Darby Allin, and then Orange Cassidy comes back in, lighting them up, and then a satellite DDT takes Wheeler Yuta out, and then Daniel Garcia cuts him off in a suplex counter, then a countered sleeper hold, essentially shoves to a front chaser, sliding. I'll say it again, guys. Sliding to the floor and setting Orange Cassidy on a table, and Wheeler Yuta off the top with a splash through the table to the floor, which was amazing as well, guys. Then Darby with a Yoshi tongue nick nick on Daniel Garcia up top, and then Wheeler Yuta cuts him off, and Darby Allin's left hanging in the tree of hole, and then Wheeler Yuta climbs up, and Orange Cassidy's up with him and shocking for precision and crawling his back, but Wheeler Yuta gets a chomp shot in, and Orange Cassidy's diving DDT, and Darby Allin's capitalized Wheeler Yuta and kicks out off the coffee drop. Then Orange Punch sends Daniel Garcia to the floor, and a Kofu puts Wheeler Yuta out after him, and Orange dive, and then Darby Allin grabs the Scorpion Deathlock, Sting's submission hold, the Scorpion Deathlock on Wheeler Yuta in middle of the ring, and that's how they won, and that's how Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy won by submission, with Darby Allin doing the Scorpion Deathlock. I'll say it again, guys, and that's how they won with the Scorpion Deathlock. Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy and defeated Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia by having Wheeler Yuta tap out, guys, by Darby Allin. Then let's talk about the next thing. Here with Hook, I was fine with it. I liked it, but Hook needs to get used better, and Hook needs to have longer matches, in my opinion. But let's talk about it. So Hook walks and talks backstage, and he says he's going to be out there with three highly paid veterans, and his hands will be full, but he doesn't want it either other way. He tells Samoa Joe that he's going to do his best personally to ensure he doesn't affect, and he's shown the world who he is. But Hook already known, and then we went to the break, and then back from the break, Renee Paquette interviews Don Callis backstage with the Young Bucks and all of that stuff. Guys, let's talk about it. He says he's going to show everyone that the Don Callis family has never been stronger, and he waves the Young Bucks over, and he says it's a shame how the Bucks have been treated, and he respects them, saying they do not want to join the Don Callis family, but after recent events, he just wants to offer and show them what they can do, and he calls for the truck to play a special entrance. I'll say again, he commissions for them, and they make their entrance with Don Callis giving them a big intro and started by Pyro and all of that stuff, guys. And then we had FTR fences Jet Speed, fences the Jurassic Express and the Young Bucks, and for a number one contender in a four-way, which was good, guys. This was a good four-way, I'm telling you. And FTR won this match, guys, and they're facing Bro Dito for the AW tag team titles at Full Gear, guys. Can't wait. I can't wait, guys. That's going to be a good tag team match. FTR fences Bro Dito, guys. But anyways, let's talk about it. Stokely halfway is on commentary for this one, and Jack Perry gives Brian Danielson a knife to keep Stokely halfway off his back, and then Jack Perry and Mike Bailey start circling, and Dex Harwood tags Jack Perry out and collar and elbow, pushing Mike Bailey into the corner and big chomps, and Jack Perry tags back in, and Mike Bailey single legs off the rope and leaps frogs, roll over and arm drag, and Luchadors tags in, and Jurassic Express and Jet Speed go at each other. They go at each other, and all four wrestlers with tips up, and then FTR and the Bucks attack and lay all four of them out, then trying to overwhelm Luchadors in a super kick party and leg sweeps, takes him off his feet, and Dex Harwood tags on him and lining Kevin Knight up with chomps and match breaking down, and Jack Perry Tums Brew and FTR catch him and puts him face first into the announce desk, and then Luchadors fires up and defends his buddy Jack Perry, and the Young Bucks work him over and cash cheap shot Matt Jackson with a drop kick, and then Mike Bailey kicks on Wheeler Yuta, and everybody's out on the floor, and Kevin Knight dives into the course and comes up, clenching his knee and agony to send us to the break, and then back from the break, the Young Bucks working Jack Perry over, and he tags Luchadors in. Hold on, we got one comment. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you coming in, man. Appreciate you coming in. Appreciate you. So then that's what happened, guys. And then the ring fells with heels as the Luchadors cleans house and choke slams him from both Bucks and one into another standing moonsault, and Jack Perry with a flip power driver on Nick, and Matt kicks out, and the match breaks down and action hard and heavily, and Luchadors standing appearance alone, but a part of the super kick party crumbles him, and Jack Perry dives into a super kick party, and Mike Bailey ducks, and nobody's home on the standing moonsault, and then a super kick party, and one for FTR2, and then Kevin Knight springboards in a super kick party. BTE triggers somehow, and then Kevin Knight finds the wheel to kick out, and then a moonsault from Mike Bailey. Then Kevin Knight in the ring along with Nick, then a UFO splash, but FTR cuts him off, and then FTR wins with the Shatter Machine, and that's how they win with the Shatter Machine and pin Kevin Knight and become the number one contenders, guys, and that's what happened right there. And I'll read the other comments. So we got my buddy in here, the shout outs, as always, and the Titron. So you see that, guys, in the banner? That's him as well. So support him as well, guys. Support him as well. And support Matt Frost, like I said again, guys, and support Slash Del Sol. But anyways, let's carry this back on again, guys. So we go back to the break, and then back from the break, the ring is set up with two tables and something on an easel under a black cloth, and then most of the Don Callis family come out and take seats at the table. Then Don Callis welcomes us to the Don Callis family as cement and tells and says there's been a lot of separations about problems in the family between, Tutesta and Okada and all that good stuff between Okada and Tutesta, and he's here to pill that myth, not, you know what I'm saying, guys, myth. not the other word, myth. Okay, myth. And answers four important questions. And Rocky Romero asks the first, who is in the Don Callis family? And says the answer is simple, the largest, most domination faction in wrestling history. And he says not everybody could be here in person, but they can be in spirit. And Rocky Romero fills the painting in the background where it is the entire Don Callis family posting shirtless, which was nice, guys. That picture, that paint, that was a nice painting. I'm telling you, that was a nice painting, guys. Good stuff. Great stuff, in my opinion. Which promotes Excalibur to drop a dot of felon at it again, and that cracks, some people up and stuff like that, guys. Then Josh Alexander asks, what is the Don Callis family about? And tosses to a video package that seems the faction up. And Kyle Fletcher speaks next, asking why does the Don Callis family do what they do, and reminds everybody of the Alf. I'll say it again. Reminds everyone of the oath, oath, also again the oath, and takes to join the family and swearing to since the family's secret, obey their laws and aids and assist in a brother in di- si- dis- dis- distress, a brother in distress, and further to keep his operation scared. Then we had Tutesta coming out, guys. Then Tutesta came out and he gets in the ring, and Okada gets up to get in his face, and Don Callis plays peacemaker and admits there's a sentence brewing to tell Tutesta that he called him the Alpha, but this is an entire family of Alphas. That means there's going to be a push and pull that emits and a desire. In the end of the day, this is a family, and he has the last question: how does the Don Callis family concede? And answers is simple. Listen to what Don Callis wants. There no, and then they say, and then he says, "There's no I in team, but there's I in family." That was good stuff right there. He said, "There's no I in team, there's I in family." And he decides what happens here, and he says he and Tutesta build this family on the ashes of Kenny Omega's career, but because he decides what happens, well, Tutesta was first in. If he says so, he will also be the last out. So right now, he needs Tutesta and his IWGP World Heavyweight Championship to put in his ego aside and shake Okada's hand. And then the crowd says, no, 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 no. And I was saying, yes, 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 yes. Guys, I love the Don Callis family, but that's just my opinion. But, anyways, let's carry it. And go up, and Don Callis tells him to not listen to the moron fans and all of that stuff, and tells him to shake his hand. And I was so happy. And he shakes his hand and stuff. Really good stuff, guys. And this isn't about ego, it's about his honor as a wrestler and a member of the family, and begs him to do it for him. And Tutesta gives a little convince nod and assents his hand to Okada, and Okada assents his as well, then raises it up and flips him the bird, and the rest of the family storms to keep them apart and keeps them asunder. And Don says he sees they have works to do, and maybe the shake hand isn't enough. And then they had a tag match with Matt Caster and Anthony Bowens on Collision, which we'll talk about that in the next review. So watch out for the next review, everybody. So, so yeah, guys. Then we get a hype reel from CMLL CMLL Olympi, Olympica, again, CMLL's Olympica. Then Renee Paquette interviews Chris Enter backstage, which was cool. She was going back this way and going that way, and then going this way and going that way, which was good stuff, guys. And she says she knows that Mercedes Monet is oppressed and hurting, and she'll be on Collision to be ringside for her match against Olympica. And she wants to say something to her, and she'll be here tonight holding the title, and she doesn't have the AW Women's World Championship, which happened this past Wednesday, guys. And yes, guys, we're going to get Mercedes Monet versus Chris Statlander for the AEW Women's Title at Full Gear, which I'll talk about my preview and predictions in the next few weeks. So yes, guys, we'll talk about that in a later time. So then we had John Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly, which was a great match till the ending happened. To the ending. So let's talk about it. Circling O'Reilly, probably kicks, and Moxley lands a right hand pump strike, and Kyle drops low for a double leg shoveling and cross armbar, and John Moxley slips out and flips the bird, and Kyle O'Reilly kicks his legs out of his leg and probably leg kicks and trading shots, and Moxley gets the better of him and back body drops him to the floor and then sends us to the break. And then back from the break, Moxley has him locked in a full Nelson and breaks it by smashing him into the steel steps. And then Kyle O'Reilly sidesteps a charge and kicks a dragon screw and picking the leg and countered and pile driver Kyle O'Reilly and kicks out and then an arm bar from Moxley shoving to the arm strap crossface and rolling over into a ring of Saturn guys and shrinks Kyle O'Reilly's eye and putting boots to him and Kyle O'Reilly pops up and trading elbows and stomps to the Achilles and kicks to the back of the head and Moxley is down but not out and trading knee lifts and triangle choke from Kyle O'Reilly, which was nice. That was a nice triangle choke from him. Then a penalty kick, but Moxley drops him with a big lariat, which was nice. And then both men are down and out. Then Moxley fires up in a big boot, and Kyle O'Reilly grabs an ankle lock. Then Moxley is crawling and despise and gets to the ropes, and then a plancha from Kyle O'Reilly right into a cross armbar onto the floor, and a dragon screw into the barricade breaks the count, and Maria Shafir gets in the way of the diving knee, and the Death Riders block, and then a choke onto the floor, and the ref counts, and then that's what happened right there. And then it's a double countout draw, and that's what happened right there. It was a double countout draw, which I was disappointed on it. And like I said again, I love the match till that happened, but I understand it. But I understand it, guys, because we're getting blood and guts. We're getting the babyface team with Darby Allin and Mark Briscoe and Kyle O'Reilly and them. Fences, the Death Riders. Can't wait. Can't wait, guys, for November 12th. Not tomorrow's Wednesday, but the next following Wednesday is Blood and Guts. Man, can't wait for that show, guys. Can't wait for it. Then post match, I'll say it again, guys. Sorry. Apologies. We'll start all over again. Post match, Maria Shafir, Dux, referee Edwards, Ebry Edwards, and Claudio Castagnoli lays Kyle O'Reilly out with an uppercut and then putting boots to Kyle O'Reilly, but Roderick Strong makes the save and then Olympic slam on I'll say it again. Olympic slam on Claudio Castagnoli, but Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia arrived. That the numbers game came in control, but Darby Allin and Mark Briscoe and Orange Cassidy arrived to send the Hills packaging, and Darby Allin gets on the mic and says Moxley hasn't suffered enough, and Mark Briscoe says Death Riders walk around like they're hard, but they're just fake and phony tough guys who are since every time it's time to throw down. So he and his crew have come up with the great vision, and he wants Orange Cassidy to announce it, and then Orange isn't interested in doing it, and then he shoves the mic at Orange Cassidy, and he shakes his hand and rolls his eyes, and then he's like, blood and guts. And that's what happened right there. Yeah, Orange Cassidy was like, blood and guts. That was cool. That was pretty cool. And then back from the break, Mercedes Monet is beating Chris Statlander down backstage and dragging her out to the stage, and Chris Statlander starts to get the better of her, but Athena appears and cuts her off, and a low blower sets up to the old face, and that's what happened right there. And then Will Nightingale and Harley Cameron make the save, and then Bandito has a video package about bringing his grandmother out to see him wrestle which was awesome. That was awesome. I'm telling you, Bandito's grandmother, that was good. That was good stuff, man. Good stuff. I have to say, good stuff, man. Good stuff. But anyways, guys, let's talk about this match. My goodness, I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you, I really wanted Jimmy Hayter and Queen Amanada to win this match, but it was still a good match. Queen Amanada and Jimmy Hayter versus the Sisters of Sin, which was a good match. Let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about this tag match. Queen Amanada and Julia Hart to start back and forth and quick tags to Sky Blue, and then a chocolate kisses from Queen Amanada, then fires up and drawing Sky Blue up and snap suplex and back and forth tags and double suplex sends Julia Hart flying back suplex on Blue and a cover for two, and then we go from the break and then back from the break. Babyface team in control and working Sky Blue over, and Julia Hart runs into breaking it up in a pin, and all four women are in the ring and slugging it out, and then a German suplex from the babyface team and a super kick cuts them off by the rush right in with lariats, and all four women are down and out. Then back and forth, Jimmy Hayter chasing Julia Hart on the floor and getting whipped out by Tekla from under the ring, and Sisters get Queen Manada up, and Sisters of Sin win with a spine buster on Queen Manada, and that's what happened right there, guys, which was good. Which was good, guys. Then we had backstage Tony Giovanni's dressed but with one part of white, like back in the days, one part of the art of white stuff, which was really nice, guys. I'll just say it that way. I'll try my best, guys. The pa pa patam patamba the patamba of the opera. I'll just say that, guys. The the outcome of the opera interviews Megan Bain and Pepsi Forward, and Pepsi Forward is injured with a torn elbow, and she's going to make every woman in the tournament to feel the pain she feels now. And Megan Bain says she's invites anyone to entrance to keep forward to team with her, and Maria Shafir steps up and says she'll listen, and John Moxley pops in and goes, these two, ooh, look out, which was funny. I thought that was funny when John Moxley was in there. He was like, going like, that was pretty cool. I love that part. That was pretty cool. Then before leaving and sending us to the break, then we had the four-way, oh my goodness, with Samoa Joe winning. This was good, a rematch. I hope Samoa Joe becomes the AEW World Champion. He gets his rematch again, and I hope he becomes the champion at Full Gear. But if he doesn't, he doesn't. But I want Samoa Joe to become AEW World Champion again, man. Oh, just imagine Samoa Joe as all elite world heavyweight champion again. Oh man, that would be good. I'm telling you guys. But if Hangman retains, I'll be fine with it. But I think Samoa Joe should be champion again. But it is what it is. Let's talk about it though. We had Bobby Lashley and Hook and Ricochet and Samoa Joe in this four-way. I'll say it again, guys. We had Samoa Joe, Hook, Ricochet, and Bobby Lashley. I really wanted Lashley to win this match, but still, I thought it was cool that Samoa Joe is getting another chance for the AEW World Title at Full Gear. So yes, guys, let's talk about it. Action ascends from the jump, and Bobby Lashley throws Samoa Joe into the steel steps. Then Ricochet drop kicks him off the apron and stalking after Hook and Rick back into Bobby and turns around and begs off and taking turns and two-plexing Ricochet and shoulder block in the corner from Lashley and bridging Northern Light from Hook, and Bobby Lashley pulls him off the cover, and Hook throwing punches at Bobby Lashley and back body drop to the apron, and Bobby Lashley yells at him to calm down and ducks him with a back elbow and then blasts him off the apron with a shoulder before following after him and choke slams into the apron, and Ricochet dives. I was thinking Ricochet dives on Bobby Lashley and Samoa Joe back in the fry, and big dive whips out both of them out, and then back from the break, and then Samoa Joe in charge, and Hook throwing body blows off the rope and gets caught by the snap scoop power slam, and Ricochet breaks it up and then whips reverse and diving crossbody, but Samoa Joe hits a bridge and turning jabs, and Bobby Lashley pounds Ricochet out of the way and squares up with Samoa Joe and trading punches, and Samoa Joe with a thumb in the eye, and Bobby Lashley lands a huge spine buster, which was nice, really nice from Bobby Lashley, the spine buster, that huge spine buster, guys. Then Lashley catching Ricochet and hits the Dominator, and Hook breaks it up and whips to the corner and catching Hook on the top and cover. I'll say it again, over, I'll say it over, and Hook slints him off, and Samoa Joe ducks Bobby Lashley with a lariat, and Hook sends him to the floor and squares up with his monitor, and Samoa Joe with a headbutt, and Hook lands the Taz Plex and Ricochet off the top with a clothesline, and then Ricochet off the ropes and a corkscrew top, but he lands on his feet. Then a special on Samoa Joe, and then back inside up top a shooting star press, and not quit enough. And then Hook locks the Redum in, and then Samoa Joe breaks it up with a suicide. Then he gets Hook up, and then Lashley off the rope, and then a spear hits the muscle buster, but Ricochet hits the 450 splash on top of the pal, and everyone's down and out. And then Hook with a victory roll pin for two. And then a lariat sends Ricochet to the floor and a low bridge, and Bobby Lashley joins in, and Ricochet annoys Bobby Lashley with a chair shot to the back, and then Bobby Lashley gives chase. I'll say it again. Bobby Lashley gives chase, and then Samoa Joe puts the Cocaine Clutch on Hook, and that's what happened, guys. And that's how Samoa Joe became the number one contender for the AEW World Championship again, guys, by putting the Cocaine Clutch on Hook, and that's what happened, guys. Then, then we had the post match. I'll say it again. Then we had the post match. Shibata and Will Hobbs join, and Samoa Joe and Celebration, and Tony Giovanni joined Samoa Joe. I'll say it again. Tony Giovanni. I'll say it again, guys. I'll repeat it again. The post match, Shibata and Will Hobbs and Samoa Joe celebrated in the ring, guys, which was nice with a beer, which was cool and stuff, with a beer and stuff, which was cool and stuff like that. We'll talk about it here. And Tony Giovanni joined Samoa Joe in the ring for a contract signing right now. And the guys and Tony Giovanni calls for Low to come out, but here they are in a stay percent Marshmallow Man and a cow and a chicken and a ghost made of meat and stuff like that stuff, guys, and all that stuff with the the with the costumes, with the cow and the chicken, with the costumes and all that stuff, guys, and the Ghostbusters costume and all that stuff as well, and all that cool stuff. Then Samoa Joe says he wants to insert that this is the safest environment to possible to sign this, and tells his boys to make sure he's safe. So Shibata and Hobbs beat up the people in costumes and sends them packaging, and then in mass the Stay Puff, and but it's some random dude, which I think it's some security guard from AEW or some independent wrestlers, one of those two. I think he's a wrestler or a security guard for AEW, like like indie wrestler, one of those indie wrestlers or security guards, like I said. But let's carry on, guys. So Samoa Joe signs the contract, and Samoa Joe gets on the mic and says the Hangman isn't as creative as he used to be, and apologized for the carnage, and says Hangman Adam Page days are numbered, and he stands before you, your next AEW World Champion, which a great line right there with Samoa Joe, in my opinion. Then Tony Giovanni says the match is official and celebrates are in order, and he offers up a toast. And then Tony gets in and back in the ring and toasts with AEW and to Full Gear and to Hangman Adam Page, which was awesome. That part with Hangman Adam Page was with the Tony Giovanni part when he was just wearing that whole costume to look like Tony Giovanni, and then he pulls his freaking mask out, and then it's Hangman, and then he has his hair in the ponytail and stuff, which was good, guys. Oh man, that part was good. I'm telling you. Oh man, I'm telling you, guys, that stuff was so good. I'm telling you. Oh man. Then, 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 then the cowboy, the cowboy stuff, and it's not Tony Giovanni anymore. It's Hangman Adam Page wearing a Tony Giovanni costume, like I said, and then he takes Shibata and Will Hobbs out, and then blasts Samoa Joe with a block shot, and then mounts and punches and rain downs to security, pulls them apart, and that's what happened on the show. And I get this AW Fright Night Dynamite a 9 out of 10, guys. It was a good show, man. I'm telling you, good show from top to bottom, except the Moxley and Kyle O'Reilly match. But other than that, it was a great Dynamite. Loved it. I'm telling you. But anyways, guys, that's all I have to say. And we're going to do the collision review. So don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit those notification bells. As always, guys, this is CJD 2006. I'll say it again, guys. This is Christopher Jackson Denver 2006. Peace out and take care, guys. Peace out and take care.